We're going with the whites. Scam-o-matic? That's it. Safari Ball!
Why is this grown man freaking out about receiving a Pokeball? Well, for those unaware, this majestic creature is the scam-o-matic. It acts as a sort of lottery machine for rare Pokeballs. You put apricorns in and you get mostly standard Pokeballs out. However, approximately 1 out of every 1,000 scams, you'll be blessed with an otherwise unobtainable brand of Pokeball. The Sport Ball, which was only used in Heart Gold and Soul Silver bug catching contests, or the
Safari Ball,
which was only given to the player for use in the Safari Zone or Great Marsh. Now, some of you might be thinking, 1 in 1,000, that's nothing. Shiny Pokemon are as rare as 1 in 8,192. This is hardly something worth making a video about.
Oh my god! Oh my god! No way! No f***ing way, dude! We did it! Yo, we just hit 5 Safari Balls in a row, bro!
That's right. Beyond the 1 in 1,000 appearance rate of Sport and Safari Balls, there exists another 1 in 1,000 chance to obtain a bonus round of 5 Pokeballs, a 1 in a million single occurrence. Now, I'm not going to bother pretending this was sheer luck. However, I also didn't cheat. It would have been trivial for me to edit 999 Safari Balls into my inventory, but where's the fun in that? I'd much rather use RNG manipulation techniques and create my own luck. See, computers aren't very good at being random on their own, so programmers craft special systems called pseudo-random number generators to spit out long sequences of numbers the game can use to decide on random outcomes like, what nature is this wild Pokemon? Will this attack be a critical hit? And fortunately for us, which Pokeball will the scam-o-matic give me? The word pseudo in the name might give away the fact that these systems are indeed not random, but instead perfectly predictable. Every generation, data miners, RNG researchers, and developers poke and prod the game for weaknesses, and Sword and Shield are no different. This time around, a key vulnerability was found in the Pokemon summary screen. See, every time you click on the right stick, your Pokemon does one of 2 animations, physical or special. This can be almost any Pokemon, but I use Jirachi because its physical and special animations are very easy to distinguish. So easy, in fact, that my computer can do it for me. I learned about this tool from Jengablocks RNG automation video, and while I personally don't enjoy doing 100% automated RNG, I'm happy to let my computer stare at Jirachi's dance moves. Which of these dance moves the game chooses depends on a single bit of information from the RNG. Since the pattern is perfectly predictable, string enough of these 1s and 0s together and you eventually find a totally unique sequence of bits. In the case of Sword and Shield, this number happens to be 128. And so, by recording the order of a Pokemon's status screen animations 128 times, we can deduce our exact position in the RNG sequence. This position is denoted by the seed, and it's represented by 2 strings of 16 hex digits, state 0 and state 1. From here at the status screen, our RNG state is stable and won't move without user input. When we click the stick, the game uses what's known as an RNG call to pick the next animation. It takes the current RNG state, plugs it into a function, gets the answer, and moves the RNG forward to the next seed in the sequence. We call this one advance. On the party screen, every time you click the right stick, an advance happens, even if an animation is already playing, allowing something like a turbo controller to come in very handy and saving my hands and buttons from about 334 clicks per minute. Within the summary screen, however, this rate is capped and the RNG only advances at the start of each animation cycle. Outside the status screen, RNG calls and advances are happening all the time. Things like NPCs blinking, Pokemon spawning, weather events happening, they all make RNG calls both when you close the menu and at regular intervals afterward. Return to the pause menu at any time, and that all stops. This creates an ideal environment for RNG manipulation. We can use the summary screen to find our seed anytime, anywhere. We use that seed to search for desirable outcomes, like say receiving 5 Safari Balls at once. Then we advance the RNG closer to that outcome by screwing around outside the menu, or just advancing click by click inside the menu. Then it's back to the summary screen. Click the stick a few times, record the animation pattern until we re-identify our exact position relative to where we started. Rinse and repeat as needed until we arrive at the target RNG state, and presto, a successful RNG manipulation using nothing but a vanilla Switch and a retail copy of the game.
That's it. Safari Ball!
Scamming the Safari Ball lottery is only the beginning. These tools also give us the power to predict and control certain types of Pokemon encounters. Say for example we wanted to encounter a shiny Mamoswine. I'm fortunate enough to have the shiny charm, so the odds are a modest 3 in 4096 or 1 in 1365. To make things a little more interesting, let's also find a shiny Mamoswine with a mark. Raid Pokemon can't spawn with marks, so that will give our Mamoswine some extra charm. With the mark charm, the odds of certain types of marks are as high as 3 in 50 or as low as 3 in 1000. I opted for any marked shiny, but it would have been possible to search for one of these more elusive marks. The only limiting factor is how long you're willing to wait. And so, with our target in mind, the next step is quite literally to set ourselves up to take a step. Static Pokemon in the wild area will pop in and out of existence every time you walk within a certain boundary. Ideally, we're positioned in such a way that stepping forward spawns Mamoswine first and minimizes the interference from other Pokemon. It's not a deal breaker if other Pokemon are present, but this setup will make our lives a little easier. Once we're saved in this position, it's time to head into the summary menu and find our seed once again. After 128 dance moves, our calculator gives us the answer, and we could search for our marked shiny right now. However, chances are we'd miss our target first try because of the RNG calls that happen when we close the menu. So it's a good idea to run into Mamoswine, capture it, calculate the IVs, and find out how many RNG calls happened on our approach. Mamoswine spawn is actually pretty isolated, so in this case it's only one extra advance. This means next time we just need to take our steps toward Mamoswine one RNG advance before our target frame. So we reset the game, do the Jirachi dance, run the numbers, and find our target Mamoswine at advance number 1996. After some more stick clicking and Jirachi dancing, we'll arrive at the RNG advance exactly 1 before our target Mamoswine. From here, I switch in a Jolly Ralts with Synchronize to the front of my party, which guarantees it's a jolly nature. All that's left to do is walk up to this big old handsome boy and start the encounter.
Moment of truth! Yeah, baby! Woo!
Now your first thought might be, oh man, that's cool, but it probably takes forever, right? I don't have the time or the patience for this. But what if I told you that an hour later, I also had a shiny marked Dragapult on screen? Once you're set up and rolling, this Sword and Shield RNG is actually pretty quick and doesn't require a lot of precise timing. The one caveat is that you need to know your secret ID in order to get shiny Pokemon with this method. Thankfully, there are many trade bots out there which do exactly this. Or, if that's a little too sketchy for you, there's a method for getting your secret ID using a chain fish shiny. My friend Blissey actually has an excellent guide on this process, and if you'd like to try Sword and Shield RNG for yourself, that's 100% where you should start. Thank you to Lego Figure, Lincoln, and Anubis for all the research work they've done into Sword and Shield RNG. It quite literally wouldn't be possible without their effort. But that's just the beginning of what the world of RNG has to offer. This playlist right here is full of RNG demonstrations ranging from Pokemon Emerald all the way up to Legends Arceus. So if you thought this video was interesting, you should 100% click on that playlist right now. No, seriously, I'm not going to ask you to do anything else. Just click this playlist. Like, just watch every video in it, please. Please.